Hi, everybody, and thanks for coming out for our second 10-minute tips session. We're talking today about Canvas shortcuts, and this is Tyler Watts from the Center for Teaching Excellence here at SWU. So today's session really just is going to give you some quick introductions about some shortcuts that you may or may not know about in Canvas that can make your job when you're grading, when you're doing announcements, assignments, those kind of things, just to make it a little bit easier and so that you can save time and focus on the things we really want you to focus on, which is being there for your students, giving good feedback, and helping them connect ideas in your courses. So I'm going to go ahead and get started, and we'll save some time for questions at the end, or feel free to, if you're watching this video, to send us an email with any questions you might have, or if you want to follow up with any of these suggestions. So the first thing I want to look at is looking at SpeedGrader. And I know for many of you, I've talked to you about just kind of the ways that we can make SpeedGrader go a little bit faster. One of the things, a big concern is you're putting a grade over here in this section, you're putting comments, and you save that, and then you have to go back way over here to go to the next student. So one of the things I wanted to introduce is that there are some keyboard shortcuts that you can use to go between students and also to certain areas in the SpeedGrader interface. The first is if you hit J, you can go to the next student, and K to the previous student. You can also, if you're on that page, hit C to leave a comment, G to change a grade, or R to use a rubric. So that what that will do is it will put your mouse into those locations for leaving a comment or changing a grade or using a rubric. For the J and K, so that will help you toggle between students. So if we go back to our interface here, so if you're over here, you've completed everything, you've clicked submit, then just hit J or K and you can go to the next student without having to move all the way back up here to use the arrows. Another way that you can use SpeedGrader to kind of speed up the process is up in the very top right, you'll see when you're in SpeedGrader that you've got a settings button. And if you click on that, you can actually choose how you want to sort your student list. So it might be that you've got all your students who have submitted something and you just want to go alphabetically, and that's the default. But it might also be that you're grading as student submissions come in and taking those, and you might have some students who don't have submissions. So if you want to set it by submission status, in terms of needs grading or not submitted, that will put it in an order that then you can focus on, okay, here's the ones that I definitely need to focus on, those that need grading, and not have to go through others. So just a very short way that you don't have to skip through some of those where there's no submission. The next thing I wanted to look at is adding due dates. This particularly if you're looking at our courses that are delivered at the sites or online where you're getting a course that's already developed and it doesn't have due dates, but it does have all the assignments in there. So you can go in and edit each assignment and put in a due date that way. You can also use the calendar as a way of doing this as well, which has a really nice just drag and drop feature. So if you go to view calendar, which you can see over in the far right of your course home area, you'll see at the very far right, and this will be actually minimized when you see it, an undated items area. So if you click on that, it will pop up all the assignments in your course that don't have dates at this moment. And then what you can do from that undated items area is you can just click on one of your items and drag it to the date in the calendar where you want to put it. The default for the time is a 11:59 p.m. Time for the due date, but then on that date that you've put there. So if you do drag it to the day you want, you can always go and edit and change the time if you don't want that kind of midnight submission deadline. But this is just a way that if you're using those times particularly, it will be very quick. But I think even just in terms of clicks and getting things into days, it will be quicker even if you have a different time here. So that's just another way that you can kind of save some time, particularly when you're setting up the course. So another way that you can use some of the Canvas shortcuts that we've recommended is in grading discussions. Discussion grading can always be a little tricky because you've got your posts and your replies that you've got to look through and then go into SpeedGrader or the gradebook to do the discussions. One way that Canvas has it set up to help you is in the gradebook, there's a little icon next to each person's discussion contribution, which you can click on, and this window will pop up. And if you click on more details in the SpeedGrader, what you'll see is actually their post and all their replies in one place so that you can grade that from the viewpoint of this is all the contributions that this student has made. You won't really get to see the level of conversation and back and forth between students. It's only that student's reply, so it might not be the best way if you're looking for that kind of information in determining a grade, but it's another way of just seeing only the contributions of the students isolated in a grading experience. Another shortcut, this one in Files. So if you go to Files, you might automatically just go for the Upload button in order to upload your files, and that will open kind of the browser for Windows, where you'll have to navigate to where the folder is, find the file, and then add it to the files here. A shortcut just to get out of that browsing and looking for the file is if you've got the file in a folder or on your desktop, and you can put your browser so that you can see both your desktop or the folder and the browser, you can go ahead and take that file and then drag it over into the files area, and you'll see this icon that pops up, drop items to upload, and you can just drop the file, drag and drop it directly into the files area. So just a little step that can save you just a few valuable seconds there. And the last thing I'm going to mention is not really a shortcut, but kind of a hidden feature of Canvas that might be very valuable at times. And that's there is a feature which allows you to restore anything that you've deleted in the course to a certain degree. The limitation based on how long ago that was deleted. So what you can do to access this is if you click on your course and home, you'll notice that you'll go to this page here, swu.instructure.com, courses, and then a number that represents your course. If you type in undelete after that, that course URL, the web address there, and hit enter, you'll be taken to this restore deleted items page, and you'll be able to see the last things that have been deleted from the page and restore them. So if you're working late at night, you accidentally delete an assignment or discussion that you're creating, and you say, oh no, what am I going to do? Go to undelete, find that discussion or that assignment or that page, click restore, and it will put it back where it was in the course. Obviously, the best practice here is to not delete things that you don't want to delete, but if you should have that accidental deletion, there is a way to get some of those things back. So just be mindful of that. So those were our shortcuts for today. I hope you enjoyed those. If you do have other shortcuts that you'd like to share with our faculty, we can talk about that in our question and answer time. But if you're watching this video after the session, feel free to email that to us or share it in some other form so that we can share that out with others. Would be happy to have a Canvas Shortcuts Part 2 in the future that we can share with everybody, any shortcuts that you're using that might be beneficial for all. So I'm going to go ahead and turn off the recording. We'll stay around for some time to answer any questions, and we'll see you at the next 10-minute tips.